Welcome here to the Marriott in Columbus, Ohio. I am joined by the most dynamic father-daughter duo, maybe in college basketball, women's basketball history, head coach Vic Schaefer and senior guard Blair Schaefer. So thank you very much for joining us here today.
Sure.
I'm very busy, but let's talk something other than the X's and O's. We'll start with Blair. Put into a snapshot for me, what is it like playing SEC basketball, Final Four basketball for your dad, with your dad, being a part of that experience?
I mean, most of the time it's coach. So when we step on the court, it's business. But, like, obviously off the court, we get to see each other all the time. So it's really nice because a lot of college players don't get to see their parents all the time or let alone play for them. And it's amazing if their parents can even see them play once a year. So for me to be able to see him every day, I mean, it's really awesome.
I'll ask you first, and then I will ask Coach here. How do you turn off Coach, Dad? You know, what is there any sort of instance you can remember where it was like, oh, that's my dad, or that's my coach? You know, is there anything that stands out with that?
Like in the past or now, or
anything that comes to your mind? Like, is there like a moment where, I don't know, something happened and you're like, wait a minute, that's my dad, or like frustrated with coach or something like that?
Well, I think when I was younger, I was playing AAU ball, and he said something to the effect of, okay, do you want me to be your dad in this moment, or do you want me to be your coach? And I was like, no, I want you to be my coach and tell me, like, what I need to do to get better. And he told me, like, the things I'm struggling with, the things I need to get better with, what I'm doing good. And I think just from that moment on, we've been able to separate coach and player and father-daughter very well. And so I think when we just get in the gym, it's basketball mode, we understand, you know, it's business. And then obviously when we're done with games and practices, it's not.
I'm going to go ahead and we'll ask you the same question, Coach. I know Blair mentioned that instance, but how do you, I could just think about my dad. When I played basketball, my dad was the guy in the stands who really wouldn't say anything, but then I would hear him because it'd be like a bad call or something, and he would let the ref know about it. How do you turn off, like, Coach, Dad? Is there a on-off switch to that?
Well, I think I'm always in coach mode, but I'm also in father mode too, not just to Blair, but to all our kids, you know. So many of the decisions that I make, that my staff and I make, you know, Johnny and I are both parents. Deanna's a new parent. And so we make a lot of the decisions we make with our parental instincts first before we even think about the rest of it in regards to our players. So, but with Blair, she's right. Early in her career, 7th grade, I think, we were at an AAU event, and you know, she knew I was upset with how she was playing, and you know, I could tell that she knew, and so I just wanted to make sure that whatever she wanted me to do, whatever role she wanted me to play, I could do it. And at that moment, she said, "Hey, I want you to talk to me like Sid and Sid," which were two of my former players, and so that's kind of how we've handled it when it comes to terms of basketball. Now, when we're at the house, it's father-daughter, it's family, it's hey, how was practice today? How was the coach? We talk in third tense a lot of times, and that's a pretty funny conversation. I have to defend the guy sometimes.
So off of that, thinking of the stage, you know, you were just mentioning, both of you, 7th grade AAU travel ball. Now you are both, I'll start with you, Coach, SEC basketball, second straight Final Four. What has it been like for you to experience something that not many people do, but you get to experience not once but twice with your daughter?
Yeah, I mean, twice with Blair, 4 times in my career. Just, it's so special to be able to do it obviously with Blair. This year in particular, she's a starter. She's started every game for us. Very vital, integral part of our program and our team. But it's also special with all of our kids that we have. But to have it with Blair, to see her development, how she's made herself into a Southeastern Conference basketball player, is really rewarding. It's not only rewarding, though, as a parent, because I knew where she was as a father, I knew where she was as a player, but as the coach, to see a player like Blair, who came to us as a freshman needed to work on a number of things, has done that. And now to see she's, on the all-defensive team. I mean, defense is pretty special to the head coach, who also happens to be the dad. And for her to be on the all-defensive team, to be our, really the glue to our group, she's the one that if you forget about her, she'll bury you in a hurry. And a lot of times teams are paying attention to our other players because they're all really good players. And Blair's stepped up and become one of those really good players for us this year, plays more minutes than anybody. He's our toughness kid, best help defender, takes more charges than anybody on the team. So it's been very, very rewarding. I don't think you could draw a script any better for our 4 years. I can't believe it's fixing to, come to an end this weekend. It's just a blur to me.
So speaking of that, I think we proved in the UCLA game that if they leave you alone, you can knock it down.
Yeah. Some of the other reporters were asking me, they were on you pretty tight in the first half, but then you got some looks in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and knocked them down. And I was just saying, sometimes so many people, they have to worry about Tiara, Victoria, Roe, Morgan, because they're just so dynamic and explosive and dangerous. So, sometimes when they help off me, I got to take advantage of it.
All right, we're going to get into something a little fun.
Okay.
Please tell me there is a dad joke. Does Vic have a dad joke or a dad saying or something? What is the thing that can come to your mind that might have, dad joke-ish?
I don't know. Like on the court, off the court, at home?
Anything.
I don't know. Sometimes we'll be in practice and either I do something wrong or funny or whatever, and he'll just be like, I don't know who that Schaefer kid is. I don't know who she belongs to. So that's pretty much what comes to my mind.
And now I have to think, I think a couple weeks ago, Victoria did the Praise the Lord, Go Dogs impersonation in the press conference. Can you give me the best Vic Schaefer impression?
All right. It'd be really country. Praise the Lord and go dogs.
Really?
That was good. That was really good.
That's it?
So bad on so many fronts.
Okay, so I have to ask, we'll go for you first, Blair. Senior night. Big night, obviously, for the team. Big night for both of you. To experience that with your dad where, he's been your coach for this amount of time, and then after the game's over, you become dad. It's you walking your daughter down the court to be honored as a senior. What was that experience like?
I don't know how to, really explain it because he's always, coach in that setting. So it was kind of like, I don't know, he's always coach and father at the same time for me. So I'm just so used to it, I guess. But for him to be able to walk me, stay at half court, be the coach, then walk me as the dad, and then take a picture as the coach, that was cool. It's just different, it's unique. No one else really goes through that. So
right, I remember my senior night as a high school basketball player, but this is totally different. So, Coach, I think I'm going to ask you the same thing. To go from addressing the crowd, addressing senior night, and then it's Dad Vic Schaefer walking to Blair to half court to honor her. Give me a snapshot of what that moment was like.
Well, it's all to Blair's comments. It's all we've known. I wear both hats all the time. It seems like when we're together, we try to separate when we're at the house. But I'd never take the dad hat off, ever, because I feel like I'm trying to do that also with my other players and help in that regard sometimes when they might need that voice. But I think, that night obviously is really special. It's emotional. There's so many things that go into that night. I knew that wasn't going to be our last night, so I was okay. If I really would have thought that was our last night in the hump, it might have been a little bit harder on the old man. But I knew we were going to play 2 more games that night, and that was kind of my saving grace because those 4 seniors have meant so much to me personally, professionally, and obviously Blair. to be there on her senior night. I mean, again, pretty special that not only am I there, and I'm not even in the front row. I'm on the court with her, both as coach and father. So it's a pretty unique deal.
I think that's it. What we got. Thank you very much both for joining me.
No problem.
So, what do you think, Coach? Got to work on that impression a little bit.
No. I thought I did pretty good, but I'm just saying.